Breaking the bias starts with recognition of bias. So we have to first realize that bias is part of how we interact as humans, and then work to recognize that bias and to overcome it, because it is just not the way forward in an inclusive and equitable universe.
I think breaking the bias, what it means to me is gender neutral, and in terms of people being given the opportunities regardless of their gender, and gender shouldn't really come into the question.
To me, I think the opposite of bias is diversity, equality and fairness. So breaking the bias, to me, it means to realize all of these elements.
I'm inspired by achievements, but also the other side of that coin is knowing the challenges they've overcome and their unsuccess stories as well.
Sometimes we have our own prejudices over others, or sometimes even on ourselves due to a lack of confidence. So bias can take form in very different ways in our daily lives. We need to be actually confident ourselves. We need to actually have some self-respect. We need to actually think that what we can do.
I think we all have a role to play in terms of supporting each other and encouraging other people to reach their goals regardless of what barriers they deem to be in place, and kind of like have their own aspirations and really go for the dreams and kind of go for it regardless of what they think they can and cannot achieve.
Peer support is really important, and I think identifying those individuals who are close to you and that can provide that support. And unless we talk about these unsuccessful moments, we don't see or talk about those opportunities of how to develop and to turn them, and to kind of turn them into a pivotal, moment of success.
Nowadays, it's not about women that need to show to the whole world what we can do that men cannot do. It's more about what we can do things differently.
The most important step of breaking the bias is recognizing the bias, and also speaking to people who may be involved or victims of this type of bias that infects the way we evaluate many choices in this world unconsciously. So switching from unconscious to conscious examination of bias is a really important first step in overcoming it and just breaking the bias.
In terms of civil engineering, it's a lot in terms of construction. It's a very male-dominated field. I'm a true advocate for going into primary schools, into high schools, doing outreach work, showing to young children that regardless if they're a boy or a girl, they can do anything they want to achieve. And you can do that for your personal life as well. I teach my children that regardless if my little boy wants to go to dance, he can go to dance. If my little girl wants to play football, she can play football. It's gender neutral, it's on your personal choice and whatever you're interested in.
Find a mentor, look for a mentor, and there's lots of mentorship schemes that are run by various societies, but also just approaching members of staff. I think I would say that if students are struggling with some aspect, or they've identified a barrier or a challenge and they're looking to break the bias themselves, then to know that they're not alone and that they can approach staff members and that we're all really approachable and friendly, and just asking for help and support and mentorship if they're thinking about a career in my field, which is science.
I think it's not about making us stronger because we are already strong. It's about to show the whole world the strengths, or perhaps to change how the whole world actually perceives this kind of strengths. I think life is tough, so we are.
Having serious conversations and blameless conversations where you try to understand how people have been affected by bias and how they perceive these worlds as being open or closed to them. But I think where good practice occurs, and we've got a range of people and a lack of bias in these environments, it's incumbent upon us to showcase these and say it can be done. it can be successful, and it's actually enriching for everyone involved to be part of a community that is more equitable for everyone.